Well, it's actually pretty good. Here's a brief story of our family trying out a new broadband solution. This video is not sponsored in any way. About a month ago, two Verizon reps literally went knocking door to door. They just went around our neighborhood, signing people up for Verizon's 5G fixed wireless home broadband. I'm not particularly happy with Spectrum, so Marie and I decided to give this a go. Those Verizon reps had no idea what I do for a living. A couple days after their home visit, we had a box in the mail. This is the Verizon Home Gateway. It's a 5G receiver and Wi-Fi router in one combo box. The setup was really easy. You find a window with the clearest line of sight to a Verizon cell tower, you plug it in, and then you run through a short setup on your phone. And from there, a Wi-Fi signal starts broadcasting. Total activation time was seriously less than 10 minutes. This is a Wi-Fi 6 router with a pair of LAN Ethernet ports. The Ethernet ports are appreciated. The first minor issue we run into with this solution, we need to have clear line of sight to a tower. And the window that we got the best sight to that tower was in probably the worst location to supply Wi-Fi to the rest of our little townhouse. So I ran a really long Ethernet cable all the way around my office and then out into our hallway to connect to our current router. I can't comment as specifically to the Wi-Fi capabilities of this box because it really wasn't gonna work for our location, and that's why we have a router in a very specific spot in our home. Really using this as a data connection. The funky thing about 5G fixed broadband, which I'm sure is not gonna be a massive surprise to folks out there, this solution did seem a bit more susceptible to peak network traffic. I believe Verizon does a pretty good job about being upfront about this. The plan we signed up for was rated between 80 and 300 megabit per second for downloads, with typical uploads around 10 megabits per second. Now, the reps who came to visit estimated that we'd get around 200 down and maybe 30 to 50 up. Running a handful of speed tests over several days, we got mostly better downloads. Now, we live pretty close to a high school, and if we weren't right in peak drop-off or pickup time, as the school day is starting or as the school day is ending, we were often over 300 meg down. Those speeds would drop significantly though at high traffic times, but they never managed to fall below Verizon's minimum speed estimate. So I got to give Verizon credit there. The flip side of that though, uploads weren't as speedy as I hoped. And that's one of the major issues I have with cable broadband is how dramatically asymmetrical your downloads and uploads are. I would happily pay Spectrum more for a significant bump in my ability to put content back up on the internet. On Verizon's box right here, we would regularly get a surge of upload, but that would quickly settle at a lot lower consistent speed. The best speed test I ran, I got a short peak of 50 megabits per second, which would have been awesome, but then it quickly dropped down and settled to around 20 megabits, which is pretty much what I'm getting with Spectrum. The service we were trying out was going to cost roughly $70 a month. Verizon supplying the hardware, and thankfully no contracts or anything to sign you into a longer term agreement. For Spectrum plan being about $10 more than this Verizon plan, we're getting about the same upload speed, which is what I need to rely on for my work, and the Spectrum service offers consistently faster downloads. And compared against a 5G wireless solution, our cable service has been a little better at handling local peak traffic in the middle of the day. I gotta bring this up because it was actually kind of hilarious in taking this box for a test drive. The goofy bit of signing up for Verizon. We don't have any current line or account with Verizon. So this was set up as a whole new account from scratch, and we got stuck never being able to finish setting up our account. So I created the login and I set up a password, and then the website would send a verification code to the phone number listed on the account. The phone number of this gateway. This is essentially a 5G modem, so it gets assigned a phone number, not using my email address or my personal cell phone number, which is on another carrier that I signed up for the account with. The main two-factor authentication for our account was assigned this box's phone number. So we'd get that code to set up our account, and it would get sent here where there's no way to get the verification code to finish setting up our account. It took a couple calls with Verizon customer support to work that out, and mostly I just thought it was funny. It was this absurd little cycle of a trap that I'd fallen into trying to create this account. If we're just looking at fixed wireless home broadband, the price might seem a little high, but one of the main perks of a big carrier is bundling. If you're already a Verizon customer and you staple this onto your account, you get better rates for services. And if you live closer to ultra wideband towers, you can also triple your connection speeds over what we had access to here out in the burbs. We ran the box for about a month, and seriously for me, the fun part was having two separate internet services, and our router could combine those internet services, but we really couldn't justify keeping both services. We couldn't work out the math for the costs on two separate internet connections. In having to pick one solution, this did not work out for us, but I'm really glad we tried it. It was a lot better than I was expecting. And if you're in an area where maybe you're struggling for competition, or maybe you only have access to DSL, I would highly recommend looking up fixed wireless options. I think this might be a better application of 5G tower technology than trying to impress us with faster and faster smartphone speeds. But I digress. I will, of course, leave a link in the description on Verizon fixed wireless broadband. I get nothing if you click that link. So I hope you can share some good info with family and friends who need good data. A trial run with 5G home broadband might be just the right fit for their needs. And I would love to hear down in the comments, have you had experiences using a 5G home internet solution? Did you have good experiences? Did you have bad experiences? Drop some of your own anecdotes, and that might help someone make a smart purchasing decision for their home broadband. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, and subscribing to the channel. All the support lately has been amazing. If you're clicking on links, even the links that don't benefit me, down in the description below this video. If you're dropping smart comments, if you're catching my home website, SomeGadgetGuy.com, if you're shopping a little merch, or if you're joining the list of names scrolling by on your screen from my Patreon. Patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list is basically the coolest collection of tech pals in the universe. So I hope you'll check them out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, reviving my Flickr, playing on the Mastodons, but not so much on the Instagrams or the Facebooks, and I will catch you all on the next review.